fall to round out your new weapon with 4 catalysts available to add. You can grab all 4 catalyst quests from Ido and complete them in one go if you're fancy, but we suggest you put together a competent fire team as you need to play Ghost-Spawn, an expert to do so. One thing I really did like here, guys, imagine how you would feel if you were going to have to do what we did last episode, which was we have to play the mission every week for the catalyst, which is something that's been a thing now for forever. You know what I mean? Take the Strambo from last year, right? We had to do the same exact thing. It was really, really nice picking up all 4 catalysts, knocking them all out. They all have the same objectives outside.
Cause your thing that we're insuring to be safe, basically, right? And so, like, if you're an insurance company, why do you want to provide insurance to a group of people that are part of a government that doesn't even do the bare minimum, right? So, like, it would be, it's basically a suicide scheme to do that. And I totally understand it. Still, scam don't justify bullshit. I mean, all I try to do is I try to be reasonable and I try to look at things from other people's perspectives, right? I just try to logically view it, and that's the way I see it. And I'm not saying that insurance is good. I'm just saying, like, if you were them, you'd obviously do the exact same thing. Anyway, let's take a look at this right here. Sorry about this. Look at that.
Insurance companies' reasoning for canceling policies for people living in Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles County was due to concerns about the increased frequency and magnitude of wildfires in the state. The decision was announced in March, claiming it would cancel 72,000 property policies in California, 30,000 of which were home insurance policies. Around 1,600 homes in Pacific Palisades were victims of State Farm's policy cancellations. The company deemed the decision a necessary business strategy to prevent, quote, financial failure. It was allegedly due to California state laws that prevented companies from raising premiums to match the elevated risk. Other insurance companies...
That's also true. I mean, if they can't raise the amount... This is the problem with price fixing, effectively, is that if you're price fixing in an area, there is also a case where companies move out of the area. So it's kind of like another example of like the government trying to make businesses compliant and make them operate in the best interest of like the consumer. But what it ends up doing is the opposite. So like a good example is that whenever they had like those rules where like you could steal anything you want, well, you had probably a lot of stores shutting down after that. Like you're seeing this happen in New York City too. So when you have a system that makes it to where these companies can't make money, well, they're going to fucking leave, right? I mean, they have to leave. So yeah, that's the cost of business. Well, I mean, if the cost is too high, you can't expect businesses to stay, right? Like, why would a business martyr themselves? Why would you do that? Like, I mean, and the thing is that nobody actually wants this to be true. And the people that do probably either don't have, like, if it was your company that you had your money invested in that was doing this, and it was doing the quote right thing and losing you, let's say, tens of thousands of dollars in your 401k, you'd be out of your fucking mind furious about it, and you'd want those people replaced. So it's easy to be generous with other people's money or time, but when you look at it from the perspective of somebody who actually has accountability for this, I think it makes a lot more sense.
Followed State Farm's decision, which resulted in a significant homeowner insurance crisis in the state. State Farm's president and chief executive, Denise Hardin, rationalized her corporation's decision in a letter to California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara. Quote, windstorm catastrophes in early 2023 and increasing trends in non-catastrophe water losses and liability claims without the additional premiums needed to support those cost increases have generated large underwriting losses.
Exactly. Like, they can't make the money back if they aren't able to charge a high enough premium. That's why, like, I think that this is true inside of Florida as well. is that a lot of places don't have flood insurance anymore either, or hurricane insurance, excuse me.
Concluded by expressing a need for reform while maintaining that she still wanted a
Like
company
a good neighbor, State Farm evacuated their business.
that was considered empathetic and would be available to aid and assist policyholders in need.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I think insurance is a scam. I don't like insurance. I think that all things, basically every function that insurance has, I think should be fulfilled by a government. That's just my general opinion. I mean, you have some types of exotic insurance, people that insure body parts who are athletes, or people who insure high value art. Sure, but I'm talking about normal people insurance. I think these are functions that should be fulfilled by a government. That's my opinion, right? And so I don't think State Farm is even really wrong for canceling everybody's shit. I don't think that they are, because if they kept doing it, they would have lost all of their money to begin with. So it's okay, well, martyr yourself or you're wrong. Okay, so you either go out of business or you're a bad guy. I wonder which one to do. Welcome to capitalism. This isn't capitalism. This is every single person, a monkey and a gorilla can understand a form of, okay, if I give something this and I only get this back, it's not worth it, right? Monkeys can figure this out. 5-year-olds can figure this out. This is not an outcome of capitalism. It's an outcome of common sense.
Community. That fire has left much of this once idyllic neighborhood in ruins. This is a neighborhood nestled between the Santa Monica Mountains and the Pacific Ocean, a beautiful place, but now unfortunately all but wiped out. CBS's John.
Taxes are so high in California, where the hell's all that money go? I think that there's a lot of people in California who are wondering that exact question. I think there's a lot of people that are super curious, where is the money going? That's a great question.
Father Bigliotti has been covering this disaster since it began yesterday, and he shows us now how it all unfolded.
As dawn broke in Pacific Palisades, we found a scene that can only be described as apocalyptic.
Yeah.
The once vibrant village off iconic Sunset Boulevard had stood like this for decades. Until now.
Wow.
We just arrived here in what is left of downtown Pacific Palisades, and I am overwhelmed by the scale of loss. Many people are going to return to
Look at this, is incredible. Really, I mean, this is probably the biggest natural disaster we've had in a long time, I would say. This is... Yeah, this is a fucking natural... Well, yeah, no, it is... These are... So, forest fires are natural. They do happen in a natural environment. Now, they don't happen in the exact same way, and, obviously when there's a city there, it's going to be different. But forest fires and these natural events occur on their own.
Many people are going to return to homes that were lost, and even more important, their community completely gone.
Those flying into LAX last night saw an endless blanket of flame, all from the Palisades fire.
Look at this. This is fucking the 2012. It's like a volcano. Oh my god. The Chinese drone started the fires. Oh, I thought it was God punishing California for having gay people in it. Well, which one is it?
Those on the ground doing everything they could to save homes.
Team effort.
Yeah, let's get out of here. We tried, bro.
We tried, bro.
When water was needed most, the hydrants ran out.
I also think that there's a huge amount of people, I have to say that guys like this guy, I mean, I obviously, I get it, right? I get why you do this, but you're the reason why problems are as bad as they are. Because you had all these people that didn't listen to the government for the evacuation warnings, and then when the fires got close enough, everybody tried to evacuate at the exact same time, and then they caused massive slowdowns and effectively shut down roads. And now the roads are unusable for everybody, including the emergency services. So like, it's people that were not listening to the government's warnings, and they inadvertently put tons of people at risk. And I find it to be like, and I get why you do it, like I get it, but man, like we saw all those cars parked and everything, that's what it is. Not good? No, I don't think this is in LA. This isn't an LA retard thing. I think people do this anywhere. Like, you remember in Florida where you had those Dumbos that were sitting around, like right in front of the hurricane, causing problems? No, it's nothing unique, or like people that didn't evacuate from that, and like their house was floating around. Are they afraid of looters? I mean, if I was a looter, I would feel like this is like pretty much a, I mean, this is like kind of like a server bug, and like, yeah, I'd probably want to take advantage of it for sure, like a duping bug, definitely. But I'd also be afraid of getting caught on fire. And so, like, if you were a looter, here's the thing, right? Because I actually thought about this a lot. I was like, well, you know, if it was back in the day, would I be trying to, like, break into houses now? Actually, no. Because, like, so the thing is that a lot of the things that you'd steal out of a house, like, most of the ways that people make stealing shit out of houses, like, worth it, is that they take stuff and they put it in the car, right? And so, and also, like, there's Ring cameras and everything, that, and those go to, like, a separate, well, anyway, I thought on this for, like, 2 hours, right? It's like, if I was going to break into houses during the LA fires, like, how would I do it? It's just like a thought exercise I was doing with myself yesterday. And the end result of it was, I don't think that it would be worth it. I don't think so.
We tried.
Yeah.
And when water was needed most, the hydrants ran out. Three large water tanks are designed to hold 1 million gallons each. The first ran dry by 4:45 p.m. yesterday, the second by 8:30, and the third in the middle of the night.
We had a tremendous demand on our system in the Palisades. We pushed the system to the extreme.
The terrible toll, at least 1,000 structures destroyed,
Harambe.
15,000 more still at risk, and 37,000 residents who remain evacuated.
Oh my
We're
God.
having to walk. This is crazy.
For many, evacuated.
Yeah, I think that a lot of this happened because people didn't observe the warnings. Am I right about this? That people weren't observing the warnings of evacuation early enough, and that caused a mass panic, which shut down the roads? I think that's probably what happened. They never do? Yeah, not just that. Hey, you guys are right. There's probably multiple factors.
Evacuation orders came too late.
When the IQ turns into the speed limit? Yeah, well, this is accurate because they're walking.
The flames moved in so quickly, people who were trying to evacuate, they panicked. Every car that you see here represents someone or a family that in that state of fear thought the best option was to abandon their cars and flee on foot.
Fire officials admit they were overwhelmed.
It's been more than 24
I could
hours
assume
since this
that.
fire first ignited. Homes are still going up in flames on both sides of the street. Over here, this condo igniting, and there is not a single firefighter here on the street.
These fires are stretching the capacity of emergency services to their maximum limits.
So many landmarks like this are quickly being erased off the map. Reinforcements are being brought in, but for a community like this, so much has already been lost. 50% has been damaged or destroyed, and this fire continues to explode
Yeah, it's gonna
tonight,
just keep
Tony.
going, right? Yeah.
Jonathan Vigliotti finishing up day 2, now night 2 of his coverage from the front lines. Jonathan, thank you.
Yeah, it's just getting worse, man. It is. And kind of wonder why the military hasn't been drafted in to help. That's a great question. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's such a high-level question. I don't even really have the answer for it. I'm not sure. But to help with what? To help organize and get people situated inside of emergency areas. That way the people that are working inside of the local government can focus on doing the things that are more endemic to the problems that are unique to California. Like, that's what I would do, right? I mean, like, if I'm thinking about this logically, that's what would make sense. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm yapping. Yeah, right. And like a little bit, yeah, I'm just yapping about this. But it sure seems like that would make sense, doesn't it? What the fuck? And so L. Biden, I don't know. I mean, like, the thing is that, let me see if I can find some of this breaking. Yeah, look at this. It's really scary.
But their hands have been tied, and they can't fight a fire without water and the resources that are needed. Everybody knew these winds were coming. The other question has to be, you know, were all the things in place to try to, you know, again, mitigate the damage here? But the real issue to me is twofold. We've had decades to go remove the brush in these hills that spread so quickly.
See, that's the question that I have, is like, how much of this, because like there's so many instances that I've seen of people that were identifying this as being a potential problem. And so like if Donald Trump could have figured this out, I would assume that other people probably also figured it out. So how is it that how is it that he figured it out but they didn't even know? Yeah, human error. Yeah, exactly. It's so weird. Exactly.
And the second is, you got to have water. And my understanding is the reservoir was not refilled in time and in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going. So that's a failure, whether on DWP's part or another city agency. But this is basic stuff. This isn't high science here. And it's all about leadership and management that we're seeing a failure of. And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
That was going to be my next question, is why isn't there water in the fire hydrants? That doesn't make any sense.
You're right. That's a good question. And I think you should start asking, why don't you call the mayor who's out of the country and ask her and get an answer from her?
Well, they say she's on her way back, and that would be a great question to ask her tomorrow if she's at this briefing at 8 o'clock in the morning, because I think there's a lot of people that are outraged.
I mean, fuck, I'd be like, oh, it's burning down. Thank God I'm over here. Jesus, man. Can you imagine if I was at work? Oh, man. That would suck. Yeah, I'd be like, guys, I'm on vacation. I told you I'm on vacation, okay? Like, y'all gonna leave me alone.
By that fact tonight, when they look at scenes like this, of businesses that people have worked really, really, really hard to build, and homes that people's entire livelihoods are going up in flames tonight. So for you, watching this and seeing those flames,
it's not the exact same as Ted Cruz. The difference in what made Ted Cruz worse is because Ted Cruz left while it was happening, and this woman was gone, and it happened while she was gone. So, like, there's one thing to, it's like basically, so, like, imagine it's kind of like, okay, so let's say you're doing bail in BWL, right? And the raid is going to end up wiping on bail. But you leave the raid, you say, hey, guys, I've got to go eat dinner, and you leave the raid before the poll starts. Well, like, fucking Ted Cruz was hearthing out during the fight. Like, while things were going wrong, he's a warrior. He's supposed to be tanking the boss. He's hearthing out in the middle of the fight. That's a totally different thing than leaving. Now, maybe you could say, well, that was our top healer that left. We needed to have them there. They shouldn't have left. Very true. But hearthing out in the middle of the fight whenever you're supposed to tank, roaching out in the middle of the fucking thing, that's totally different. LA mayor was worse. She cut funding to the fire department, acting like LA doesn't have fires every year. I'm talking about two separate things, okay? Like, I see what you're saying. I get what your point is, but that's really it. So, yeah, no, I get it. Forgot the world buff? Yeah, sure. I have multiple coworkers who lost their houses. There's a VA hospital right there. It's a really sucky situation. Oh, it's horrible. Like, it's absolutely fucking horrible. Like, I don't even know what else to say. I mean, it's just bad. Really, really bad.
So, Dennis, we're hearing that you returned to your house. Your family is not with you. Is that right?
No, they're at a hotel and with friends right now, Jesse. And thanks for having me here. And before we get started, I'd like to thank Anthony Marmolejo, James Contreras, Mike Zimmerman, and John Kluwer from OE. Came down here to help out with this fire. I can't say enough about the firefighters. Been here.
Everything good? Yeah? Okay. All right, cool. I don't know what that was.
They really made the difference. They're the guys that are running in when everybody else is running out. And they made a difference right here on my block. I have to say the fire was not more than 100, 150 yards away from taking out the whole block. And I think you're showing some footage that I shot today. The guys came down with the C-130s and the helicopters and knocked those little spring ups of fire down, and so far have saved the block from the windows.
Oh my God, you are lucky. Not a lot of people have gotten lucky, but thank God for some of these choppers and some of these men and women up in the air dumping this juice down and preventing this thing.
I'm surprised so many people don't still believe in climate change when hurricanes and wildfires happen. I mean, like, hurricanes and wildfires are natural events that occur on their own. It's not really the result of climate change. I feel like climate change, climate change is like, it could be a multiplier effect on this kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure, definitely. But we can't go and look and be like, yeah, this is happening because of climate change. That's not, is that really a complete way of looking at things? I feel like it's probably not.
Spread it. What is the vibe like? It has to be just sheer panic among the people living in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through several fires here in California. And 45 years been around here, and this is the worst one, bar none. It came up so suddenly, and it started about 10:30 yesterday for us. You know, noticing this huge plume that was coming down my stairs, and huge plume, and then within an hour, you start to see all this carnage that was going on Palisades Drive, and cars getting backed up, and sheer panic.
There's a lot of people that are trying to argue about the climate change thing. And so there's two factors that a lot of people can't consider because you don't have a like a control group to base this off of. So number one, there's a lot of climate change that can happen that just is a natural reaction to the Earth having changes, right? This has happened. Anybody that knows any sort of geological history knows this is the case, right? So this is like, that's one factor. And then there's another factor, which is preventative measures in the past that could have been taken, or other things that caused this not to happen that were structural, might have been taking place previously and are not taking place now. And so both of these instances could also be multipliers for why this event is so bad. And it's not as simple as saying climate change is the reason why this is so bad. So anybody that's saying like this is a bad take or whatever, just think about this logically, evaluate all the options. And I think that you're right to an extent, but I don't think that extent is all encompassing. I think that if you just think about it for a few minutes, you'd realize that to be the case.
And those poor people up in the Highlands, people lost everything in just a few minutes. And thank God that I hear that as far as the deaths and injuries that have been in this have been very low. And I hope that continues to be the case. And I think we can credit that a lot to the firefighters that have come in and helped rescue and then save people's property. And
it's crazy to think about all the firefighters and people that are working on this, like making it happen too. Like really like getting into it as much as you can. Yeah, like what is this? So we have. So what about this is not true? completely uneducated take. What am I not educated in about this? What is it? Firefighters are literally putting in 48-hour shifts. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, can we understand? Yeah, no, it's, well, I'm just like, let's think about this for a couple of minutes here. What happened? Did he run away? Well, no, he could just be typing. You give him a minute. It's fine. Remember what was cold indexes in winter? Look, I'm not trying to get banned, but there are scientists that have proven what you said to be untrue. What did I say? What do you think that I said? And you're getting banned, by the way. You are getting banned. Like you're just anybody who is like insistent on like you're wrong, but I'm not going to explain why. Like, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, you're dumb, I can't explain why you're dumb. No, you're banned. But I'm curious, like, what is it then? Like, what do you think that I said that you disagree with? I'm not going to type out an essay as to why, because you can't. That's the reason why. It's completely logical that obviously climate change could play a role, but to act like it's the only causal factor in this is stupid. If it's the only causal factor in this, then why are there people that are professionals with dealing with firefighting that have brought this issue up years in the past? I mean, there's clearly an amount of preventative maintenance that didn't happen here, right? Like, everybody can see this conclusion. It's astonishing to me that we're having this conversation. It's as many factors, exactly. Like, it's just, yeah, I'm not going to have people that are going to, like, call me stupid or say that I'm dumb or whatever. That's so ridiculous. Yeah. This is all warned against in the last 5 or 10 years? Yep, exactly. No, if people want to explain what they, like, if people want to have a disagreement in chat, that's fine. But if you do it in a way that's disrespectful, rude, condescending, or you just kind of repeat you're wrong over and over, you will get permaban. Yeah, like, I'm willing to listen to somebody's opinion that's different than mine, but I'm not willing to listen to somebody who's just insulting me and telling me I'm wrong. Why would I?
Keep things working. And if you get out there, if you get back into your house today, tomorrow, the next day, firefighters going to be out there. A lot of them have been working 24 hours, for sure. If you go to Starbucks, get an extra coffee, get an extra sausage sandwich, get an extra anything, and you hand it out to these guys. They're out there on the line, and they're out there without something to eat for a long time.
Yeah,
so
I mean, some of these
let's
guys
help them out.
Slept
They've really helped us.
hours, Dennis. I mean, that's just an incredible feat of strength and perseverance. Do you at all, or do the people in the neighborhood feel let down by the government of California at all?
Well, this has been a problem here in California. It's just an inherent problem in California. You know, I saw Rick Caruso, or heard him on the news today, who ran for mayor. And, his daughter, he ran for mayor, his daughter lost a house. Her house, I heard during this fire. My heart goes out to them. And, but no water in the Palisades. The infrastructure has been a big problem around here, and where we should spend money. I do have a difference with that. Yeah. And the mayor coming back, I'm sure she got on the first plane coming back, but having nothing to say once she got here. I don't know if that was edited like that, but
Not a good
You know,
look.
you got to hit the ground running.
Right.
You got to hit the ground
I mean,
running.
I would have probably, like, if I was her, I would have tried to think of, like, what to say while I was on the plane. Like, just say, if you were the mayor, like, you'd be like, okay, fuck, like, I gotta figure out something, I gotta explain this, like, what should I tell them, right? And so, like, if you take the entire plane ride, because she was in, like, another country, right? So, like, this isn't, like, a 1 hour plane ride, like, you got hours to think about this. Like, I feel like they probably should come with something better than that.
Not here. We got to keep it up. I heard a fire just started in Runyon or Nichols Canyon right
so
now.
I mean, if you're watching,
that, just started a minute, moments ago.
Dennis, I'm glad to talk to you. I'm glad everything's okay. Thank you, and thank all the
That's insane, man. Like, and some of these houses, obviously, there's some people that are celebrating and happy that the houses that are being burned down are expensive. This is just typical Twitter behavior. But, I mean, if you look at a lot of these houses and you put the math together, right? I mean, this is like $100 million collectively of all these houses that are getting deleted. So, yeah, it's happening a whole lot. Fucking idiots. Well, I'm just saying, right? It's not okay, dude, bro. I mean, it's just like, it is. It's just a retard on Twitter. Like, you really gonna get that mad about some dumbass on Twitter? What are we talking about? That's what people do. There's an idiot. Who cares?
We're at 302 Pico, and people are lighting fires now. And you can see they lit a fire. These guys, not all the people there, but some of those guys lit that fire. And they're actually, the trees caught fire, and then the palms are catching fire. So civilians are now lighting fires.
Arsonists, yep.
Fire department's been dispatched.
So they're just starting fires knowing that the fire department is distracted, and so they can just set everything on fire and they know that they can't get rid of it. Man, why? Because they probably hate the government, they hate society, and they hate the country. And so they're just trying to burn it. They're literally trying to burn it down. I feel like people have been doing this forever. I mean, it really should. I mean, this really shouldn't be a big shock, right? I mean, of course it's happening. Yeah, and dumb kids. Yeah, they're probably young guys that are mad that the world isn't the way that, you know, they were promised whenever they were growing up, right? I mean, it's really not that complicated to me. I could easily assume that to happen. Shocking, but still, what the fuck? Yeah, it is really stupid for sure. And this happens every summer here in Greece. Yeah, maybe they think they're the Joker. Yep, there you go.
But there's just the lack of water is a problem. In the Palisades, the water issue is, according to authorities, is a gravity issue. In order to get the water through the hydrants up in the hills and the mountains, you know, they have these giant water tanks that use gravity, and those water tanks ran dry. Part of the problem is a lot of people are using hoses, trying to understandably hose down their lawns, hoping that will stop the fire. A lot of firefighters will say that's not going to stop a fire like this from burning down your house.
I would assume so.
Keep your lawn, but it's not going to keep your house. But, you know, there's this huge water usage all of a sudden, and those tanks on the top, there may be water in the system down below, but if the tanks on the top run dry, there's not enough pressure for gravity to bring the water up into the hydrants. That's the Palisades. I don't know the water system here in Altamont.
Man. Yeah. No shot, they're blaming gravity? I mean, I'm sure to an extent they're right. I mean, I don't... It's sure, right? I mean, the reason why something bad like this happens is probably for like 20 different reasons. It's not like one thing went wrong. It's like 15 things, like 10 things went wrong, and 10 things weren't preventively done to prevent the 10 things that went wrong from going more wrong. That's generally what I would assume in any sort of a situation like this. It's nuisance fault. Yeah, I'll listen to him after this. Look at this. God damn. Look at the wind, too. It looks cool. I mean, it does look cool, but it doesn't if you live there. I'll tell you that. That definitely does not. Yeah, and there you go. Oh, this is another one, gentlemen. The buildings turn to dust. The trees are untouched. We have seen this many times. What does that mean? Gentlemen, the trees are fake. That's right. This is one of the new conspiracies that people on the internet have invented. It's been going on for a while. Directed energy weapon, evidence of a car fire right here. This is energy weapons again. What he's talking about energy weapons, the reason why he's using that term is because Jewish space laser is word filtered by Twitter probably. So they had to change the vocabulary. But we all know what they're trying to mean. Yeah, I knew it, right? Yes, this is exactly, these are the Jewish space lasers like what they used in in Hawaii to punish them. That's right. Trees can tank fire somewhat. Yeah, they can. You guys, everybody knows this, right? So if you are, how many of you guys have tried to light shit on fire? I've tried to light a lot of things on fire. It's really hard to burn a piece of wood that's like fresh wood, right? It's really hard to do that. And like the best firewood, you guys know, it's like you cut the tree down, you let it sit out there for a few months, and then you split it up, then you set it on fire, then it burns. And it's because of all the moisture that's inside of it. It's got to dry. Yeah, exactly. And so like anybody knows this that's lit shit on fire. So yeah, no, it's actually kind of true. Let's see if I can find the rest. Oh yeah, I was gonna watch this one here. Here we go.
And this is just incredible mismanagement.
Look at that.
Incredibly poor leadership. I would go so far as to say that
W for them getting their horses out though, man. Like, I find it to be pretty sad people leave their pets. I know sometimes things happen, but like, I mean, you can't leave your little cat. You can't leave the cat alone. Like, what are you doing?
Negligent. Because, I mean, Gavin Newsom has been either the governor for 5 years or lieutenant governor prior to that for 8-9 years. Some of the worst fires we've ever had in California under that watch. He clearly knows that the biggest problem that we suffer in California are these fires, and by the way, the mudslides that follow. And for them to do essentially not just nothing, but worse than nothing, when firefighter budgets are being cut, when they are specifically intentionally not doing the work that could be done to avoid these problems or to be...
See, that's what they need to do an investigation into after all this is said and done. Is like how many preventative measures and things that were supposed to happen were not done. Whose fault was it that it didn't happen? And then having accountability for those people. Like I feel like that's really what the conversation needs to be about.
To effectively serve them when they are happening.
It's not going to happen.
We are losing. I mean, I think it's something like millions of acres of feet of water runoff from rain and snow every year in California. As you pointed out, I think the smelt has something to do with that. That's an acre foot of water, by the way, is about 330,000.
Like, in my opinion, this is going to sound like an extreme opinion. I think that if there is evidence that they willfully and intentionally forego, like they decided to forego, like legitimate preventative measures for this, I think a couple of people need to go to jail. I do. I think a huge problem with the reason why, like one of the big reasons why I think Americans are really cavalier with making bad decisions that negatively affect other people is because there's never any real accountability for it. So like in the government, people don't really go to jail. And then also in corporations, there's like the corporate veil, which protects individuals from being liable. And so you have these cases where horrible things happen. There are people that know that they could happen. They take the risk, and then there's never any real accountability for it. And like the problem is that basically, if you don't have accountability for risky behavior, you're going to have people that take more risks. I mean, logically, right? And so I think this is a great example of that. And I think it's also, it's true on a macro level as well. This isn't something that's like unique to California. Like I think that I'm gonna be real. So like we didn't have anything remotely as bad as this in Texas, but a few years ago we had a freeze that effectively shut the state down because like we didn't have the infrastructure and there were certain things that weren't paid for. I think that we should have done the same thing for the guys in Texas. There should have been an investigation into it, figure out who the fuck it was that was, you know, getting kickbacks for not investing into this or doing anything, and then put them in fucking jail. Like, get rid of them. Like, how are we even letting this happen? Ted Cruz? Ted Cruz wasn't even the problem, I don't think. Ted Cruz is a senator, but like I'm talking about the people that are running the systems themselves. Like Ted Cruz, yeah, he shouldn't have done that, it was bad. But like, I don't think the mayor of Los Angeles needs to go to jail for this necessarily, but the people that are in charge of these departments probably do. Does that make sense? It's like the actual people who are making, who are performing the actions.
And there's millions of those that are just rolling off into the ocean, and they can be captured in cisterns. They could be, we'd have an ecosystem of hoses and safety measures that can keep all of these homes and people in these homes safe. And for some reason, they choose to do none of it. And at some point, it goes beyond just whoopsie. At some point, it goes beyond negligence. There's something that's almost criminally intentional about this. Like, what are they doing? I don't know.
So you mentioned criminal intent, and you mentioned criminal negligence. Because California can build anything. I mean, look at Silicon Valley, look at Hollywood. If they want to do something, California can do it. But you haven't built a single reservoir in 10 years? You're just letting water run into the Pacific? Because of what? A fish that no one's heard of? Does anybody care about the smelt fish?
I mean, listen, I think that both can be true. I think we can care about the smelt fish and we can care about our environment and also being able to value human life.
He's right. He's completely right. We don't want to, like, obviously human life has to come at a higher priority than the fish. Of course it does. But it's never a good thing to make a species extinct.
And the wonderful cities and civilizations that we have built and find some kind of a balance in all of that. Even still,
Jesse always says stupid
there's no
shit.
reason why we couldn't have safeguards to prevent what is going on right now. This is just, it's absurd. But I would say at the end of the day, you know, like I said, I don't know if there's criminal intent. I have no idea why they are doing or not doing the things that they are doing, but they must be held responsible. This is not good leadership.
He's right.
I mean, listen, you know, this is the man who, in the middle of the pandemic, when people were being locked up for going and gathering together, he was at French Laundry having dinner with his friends. What does that say about the character of this man who is doing nothing to help the people of California? I don't believe that it is. I don't believe it is. And so I think that there needs to be some kind of, you know, accountability that's held to the leadership, not just of California, but
he's completely right. He is. He's totally fucking right.
Also of our nation, you know. I mean, listen, there are people still in eastern North Carolina that are still climbing out of the rubble of the hurricane that totally ravaged all of them in Florida and North Carolina and South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's still happening, and FEMA completely dropping the ball there. What's going to happen now with Southern California? Is FEMA going to be there? By the way, one of the things that is almost most criminal in all of this, I don't know if you know this, but like 70% or so of the insured in Southern California that used to have fire insurance in their home months ago, this insurance was taken away. The insurance company said, no, we're not going to offer fire insurance anymore. What else? They don't need flood insurance. They need fire insurance. This is a fire hazard. Of course, that's the insurance.
Well, they want to sell you fire insurance in Florida and flood insurance in California. I wonder why. It's a fucking mystery.
They need and they want. And just months ago, this was stripped from them. Like, this is not okay. It is not okay in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I'm hearing that State Farm yanked their coverage because the regulators in California wouldn't let them raise rates. So now millions of people don't...
And you can't blame State Farm for that. You shouldn't expect State Farm to monitor themselves and say, we're going to lose a bunch of money on premiums that we know will cost us millions. You can. But I feel like you can't, though, right? That doesn't really make sense. So, like, if you can't sell a product at a price that you can make money on, how can you exist? You can't. It would destroy the whole system. And the only other way that you can exist, and I'll give you the solution, actually, is that you raise the rates of everybody else in the entire country to offset the fact that you can't raise the rates on people in California. So now you have people that are in much worse economies who are subsidizing rates and wages, not wages, but insurance premiums in California. That's it. Inflation in a nutshell. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? State Farm, there is no other option that they could have taken. There's nothing that they could have done. Different states are unrelated premiums. That's the reason why they couldn't do it. That's my whole point.
Have fire insurance, and they've lost their homes and have nothing. And you're right. You mentioned North Carolina. Remember the Maui fires? Still devastation.
Yeah, behind us.
And they were staying in 5-star luxury resorts, FEMA was. So we expect more, we expect better, we expect dignity and confidence in the United States of America. That's not too much to ask. I know there's been a recall in California, but there might have to be something else to hold Gavin Newsom accountable. A trial, a public humiliation, because if this isn't enough to step down as governor, if you have a little honor, I think that's what it calls for.
I think that they're right, that there should be a trial for it, and to see if these things were actually being listened to or taken seriously or not. Like, that's a huge thing. And, yeah, look at this. This is fucking crazy. Like, I don't think this is entirely a result of climate change. It's easy to say that climate change didn't make this better, but, like, holy shit, this is insane. Yeah, burning post. Yeah, no, and also, like, so I'm the kind of guy, I'm actually very much a climate change believer. Like, I totally am. I'm just saying that, like, this is, I think that there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, right? You can't say remove the coverage at any time. It must be after the coverage is due for renewal. You'll receive a different contract with an amendment. The way that this is worded is like everyone lost their coverage right away. At least in Canada, that's not how it works. Well, I don't know what Canada does for insurance. I have no idea. But, like, all I'm saying is that you can't expect a company, like, a business cannot operate like a charity. If a company makes less money than it's getting, then the company ceases to exist and everybody who's using the service loses. So if your system is that State Farm needs to make this money, and like also in some cases, like the company does take too much money, it fails. Yeah, it fails, it falls apart. Like it just can't exist. You're talking about nonprofits? I am. Like State Farm is not a nonprofit. It's correct on an insurance thing. If you want money, more info, you can pull me up. Licensed CA insurance agent. No. I have no doubt that like that's probably true, and maybe State Farm did something wrong. But what I'm saying is that fundamentally, if they can't charge a premium that they know that they can make money off of, or that they know they will come out ahead with, they cannot exist as a business. Like this is it's just math. If you pay $100 to make $90, if you do that enough times, you run out of money. No fucking shit. Same thing happened in Florida and no one was bad. Really? Because I think I talked about this. I feel like I said the exact same thing in Florida. I did. Yeah, I feel the exact same way, man.
That federal aid should be provided to California farm states.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called the smelt. And for the sake of the smell, they have no water. They have no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles, which is a federal thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water. They haven't any water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So
we got to go kill those fish, boys. We got to get rid of them. Yeah, give me like a hammer and like a spear. We're gonna go get them. We gotta shut this down, man. Hey, yo, fuck that fish.
It's a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true.
I actually think that's a good point. Yeah, if you got a bunch of people living in $10 million houses, like I know that there's actually like 3 or 4 girls that I know that do OnlyFans, and they left California because of taxes.
Tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrant. They don't have water. Yet they have. The water comes from, you know where? Up north, and it comes down at levels. They give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. To the Pacific, it's like a drop. It's nothing. But for California, we take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job. With that being said, I got along well with him when he was governor. We worked together very well, and we would work together. I guess it looks like we're going to be the one having to rebuild it. But what happened there, I don't think there's anything that I've ever seen quite like it. And the insurance companies are going to have a big problem, because you're talking about big, big dollars.
Well, they're not having a problem because they just roached the fuck out. That's what it was. Yeah, they just roached out. That's it.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons it freaked me out. And he was telling me.
This was in July of 2024.
He goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and the fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do. I talked to a fireman once. This is what.
That's fucking insane, man. Holy shit. Yeah, well, there it is. And he knew a little too much? Yeah, I guess so. The Requiem for a Dream music? Yeah, exactly. Can you touch on the insurance companies reaching out, please? I just got here. I mean, there's not really a lot to say with the insurance companies. It's just the fact that the... let me see if I can find it real quick and pull this up. Yeah, where the fuck is this? Trending. Damn, it's not even the top one. Where the fuck is it? Okay. Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, the insurance companies moved out of California in some cases with like the fire insurance because they couldn't charge a high enough premium to make it worth it for them. It's pretty simple, right? I mean, if that's my understanding of it at least. Yeah, holy fuck, man. This shit just got torched. Oh my god. Wow. So it was before, right? Yeah, the risk was too much. Yeah, exactly. The rates were too high for them to stay. Yep. Oh, this is Gavin. Oh, there he is. This is the guy.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in the Palisades ran out last night in the hydrants.
Yeah, so like, what's going on, man?
They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
Look. I mean, shit.
Folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just
Try
when you have
yeah.
a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are turned over 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local. What is?
Yeah. So he says, look, man, like, I mean, shit. Fires are breaking out in East California, getting close to radio towers right now. Yeah, and my understanding is like this shit's still going on right now. So this is in Los Angeles? Oh my god. Holy, yeah. Like, it's not AI or some shit. I don't think it is AI. One guy. Oh my god. Jesus. Yeah, Gamba RNG, I guess so, right? The roof? Yeah, I guess so. Holy fuck. Rolled a net 20? Yeah, I guess so. Look at all those pools and everything. The trees knocked over. Oh my god. Dude, this, like, if I see this, this is like, you ever play like an RTS game and you get like your base attacked while you're downstairs like eating dinner and you come back up and it's just like this. It's like everything's fucking destroyed. A nuke, yeah. It's like you played StarCraft against Terran and they dropped 3 nukes while you weren't paying attention. Holy fuck, man. Looks devastating, yeah. Wow. That's just, yeah, it's just really fucking left over. There's like probably another cascading effect that like this is gonna have. I bet it's probably gonna hurt a lot of people that have respiratory problems over there too. Like, so you're probably going to have, like, the social services and health services that get overwhelmed as a cascading effect. So, like, yeah, air quality is fucked there. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is insane. Remember, this might be bad and getting a lot of news because of LA, but it literally happens every year in California. I feel like this is, there's a lot, right? I mean, this is not just like... You're right, it happens a lot, but it's not like this. Wow. This like straight up like fucking like some kind of like apocalypse movie or something. It's mostly because of bad forest management and wrong foresting over time. They cut down the entire forest and replaced it with limited diversity of the same genetic trees. Any pest will kill off or dry out an entire forest. It will lack the ecosystem and layers of a normal forest. It's artificial. I think that it's probably, like, if you want my completely, like, I don't know what I'm talking about opinion, I think it's probably the majority bad management. I think part of it is bad RNG, and I think that there's like a 10 or 20% component of climate change that basically acted as a multiplier effect of the negative effects of those bad actions. That's basically what I think it probably is. Like, if you ask me, like, what do you think it is? That's probably what I would guess. Something like that. Yeah, it seems reasonable. Oh, the Jewish space lasers. Yeah, it could also be. I don't think it is though. Yeah. Oh, lasers in the sky. Watch. Oh yeah. Here we go. And so yeah, this is. There's a fire that's erupting from energy beams. Yeah, for sure. For sure, that's definitely what's going on. And yeah, definitely. Let's see if I can find any more of these. And of course, obviously, there's tons of people that are getting killed. I mean, it kind of goes without saying, but yeah. expensive properties in Malibu. So these are all the waterfront homes. Oh my God, that used to be a house. That's like a $5 million, $4 million house right there. Damn. 50? No shot, really? Fuck. I mean, to be fair, I mean, let's be reasonable just for a second here. The real value there is the land. They can build another house on this for a couple $1 million. The value is the land, but like, man, that's terrible. Who's gonna pay for all this damage? Mexico. They're gonna have to pay for it. Greenland? That's a good idea. Yeah. There you go. The risk of this happening devalues the property? Yeah, it does. Look at that. Is that like one of those staircase things? It's like a rust base. And this one just is, this one's just fine. So this is what they used to look like. God damn. Turn this down. And they're just trying to like basically stop it from spreading, I guess. Yeah, because look, yeah, I guess they got it controlled here. Damn, I didn't realize you're watching a Fallout TV show today. Yeah, same. I didn't realize it was this bad. Isn't this TOS streaming a TV show? Yeah, for real, look at that. Wow. Imagine being that homeowner. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even imagine that. That's insane. Holy fuck, man. So the home being rented by Hunter Biden is burned down. Man. This reminds me of the end of Office Space, where like now all the evidence is destroyed. Yeah, it's like, you know, like, yeah, there's no way to know. You have no idea. And everything is just, yeah, Milton burned it down. I guess so. Holy shit, man. That's what started it? I guess so. Let's see, I'll find a few more of these. Oh, they got all the little dogs and shit in here. Oh, God. Look at all the floofy boys. Yep. Got all the puppers. Yep, look at them all. You know what's really funny about these is getting woken up at 2 in the morning because this one wants to make a really loud sound for no reason. Yeah, that's a really funny thing about having a dog like that. Yeah, just out of fucking nowhere for literally no reason. We're gonna like, we're gonna just say, hey, wake up, bitch. Rat ass dogs. Yeah, no, I like that. I like those little dogs. They're cute and nice, but they can also be fucking annoying. Let me see if I can find any more of this. Yeah, what is this? So they got it under control at all. containment.
And so many others, all our neighbors.
So it's actually just still all burning down.
The memories. Altaneda's a special place.
Why is he wearing a mask? Because there's so much like this. That's a smart guy. He's a really smart guy for wearing this. Obviously, he needs a walker, which means they probably might have respiratory or like cardiological problems. And so it's to avoid having any of the particles from the smoke get into his lungs. And I mean, like, I guess also he's old as fuck. I mean, look at his hair. This is some Gandalf the white hair. Like, it's not gray hair, this is white hair.
Through this, you know, and I'm wishing that for everyone. You'll get through it one day at a time, you know.
That man must feel so overwhelmed. I just want to give him a hug. My goodness, he's already been through so much, and then this on top of it.
It really is. There's so many stories like that too, you know. That's just one story. There are many stories like that. Maria, actually, I do want you to talk about this because I noticed a lot of people saying,
Rogan's house is gone?
Still standing.
Is that it?
But nobody got confirmation that it is. So who says whoever knows first will says whoever knows. But we're all praying that our house is still standing.
Living right there on the ocean, and you've been there about 5 years, you said, did you ever dream that your house...
Holy shit, man.
People who were right there on the ocean never thought that theirs might be taken down in a fire like this.
He lives in Texas? No, he probably has a house in Texas. People probably saying he has a house in LA. There's a good chance he has a house there.
What I thought that would be this type of situation. It's horrible. Especially...
I mean, they could just be making it up too. Like, I don't know.
I have no idea how the fire jumped and got into moon shadows and burned it down. It's just horrible. I've been there for so many years. I mean, I go there a couple times a week. It's horrible to see it go. And horrible for all the people that lost their homes. I'm hoping I'm not one of them, but, you know, I gotta be prepared for the worst.
Well, Alex, I hope you get some good news, and I thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you. Thank you. So, you guys, the fire continues to burn up there on the hillside behind me. Hoopers dropping
Holy shit.
in that area.
So it's been
seems like
going
they're
on for over a
deeper
day.
into the hills. And just to
People
point
are
out,
just saying that because the
air
guy looks like
quality,
Joe
as you
Rogan.
know, is
Bald.
so bad today.
Yeah.
Most people are wearing masks, and the other
smart.
thing that we're noticing is more and more people coming in on bicycles, on Lime bikes, on Lime scooters. They're trying to make their way into the area to get answers. People are desperate to find out whether their homes are standing. So people know that they cannot, necessarily get their cars past these roadblocks. So they're trying to use other means to get inside here to try and find out whether they have anything left. That's the latest live in Pacific Palisades. I'm Michelle Gili. Back to you.
We can certainly understand all of those folks' frustration out there. Michelle Gili, thank you so much.
All right, we want to get back to the Eaton fire now. Our Joy Benedict is live in Sierra Madre at, Star Touch and Carriage.
It seems like it's dialed down at least a little bit.
This is a residential street.
Yeah, at least they're not showing any more
Yes,
like crazy
this is a
fires like
neighborhood.
before.
We are very close to the hillside right now, where the Eaton fire continues to burn up in the hillside. But I want to show you this street. As we mentioned, this is Startage Street. We have several homes that are unfortunately gone here.
It's
on
over?
this
I'm not
street.
sure. I don't think it
Four or
is.
five that I see on the south side of the roadway. If you want to take a look at all of these homes, as you go across the street here, closer to Carriage Drive, we also have some home that is burned, and that seemed to be the last one. As the rest of them here, as you're heading in the westbound direction, seem to be still standing, and that is really good news, especially for Bernard and Lucy, who live here right on the corner. They lost one home directly to the east of their home, the one on the west, and their home is still standing. And hi, thank you so much for taking a second to chat with us. How are you guys?
We're incredibly lucky. We're incredibly grateful to tell you guys are going to
Yeah, bro, like imagine the house next to you gets burned down and it's not yours.
flamed up our palm trees and
media hating God. Is that it?
To burn on the back side of our
57
hillside.
billion damage of dollars.
We had a lot of shrub on that side that went all
$1 billion
off, but
of
we have
damage.
a pool, so there was probably some fire break. So fortunately, our home is good.
Now let me ask you this: you guys did evacuate on Tuesday night. What did it look like when you were leaving, and why did you make that choice?
Well, we heard the news, and there was a fire in Eaton Canyon.
Damn, what the fuck is this?
So many of you out there have so many questions.
Look at that.
Insurance, and once the smoke clears, this is going to be what's on top of mind.
Holy
for so many
fuck.
the victims of these wildfires.
Bro, like-
insurance issues related to the LA
Yeah, it's like a
fires might be
volcano.
tough for victims. So let's bring in insurance experts and host of Insurance Hour, Carl Sussman. Carl, you Insurance Hour, you are the insurance man of the foreseeable future. There are so many people who are interested in issues like this. Welcome to the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
The first question I have for you is that if somebody does lose their home or their business, and so many of the people out there who are watching have done this, what's the very first step that they can take because it can get so overwhelming?
Well, the first thing to do, and I tell everybody this, is stop and take a deep breath and exhale, because as horrible as this is, and this is horrible, I'm personally evacuated from my home as we speak.
Yeah, I'd be stressed.
Most important is our loved ones and our bodies and ourselves, and so be happy that you are safe. Be sure you are somewhere safe. Take stuff that we left behind, and if the worst has happened and you've lost it, this is what insurance is for. This is why you purchase it. This is why you've been paying for it. And now it's time for the carriers to step up and do what they need to do. The first thing you want to
he's right.
Take the number. You want to get in line. You want to get your claim.
Yeah, this guy sucks. Well, no, he doesn't suck. He's right.
Be in line, and you'll already be in a position where you can be assigned a claims adjuster, and you can start things moving forward from there.
Yeah.
How much, can people reasonably expect to get from their insurance company after they do file a claim?
Well, depending on the policy they have, some companies
Probably between $1 and $0.
Information they're going to ask you to make lists of things that were damaged,
Yeah.
lost. What did you have? Other carriers, it might be as simple as you're going to ask for policy limits.
The chatters act like, yeah, bro, people acting like this guy lit the houses on fire. He didn't do this.
Be aware of is a lot of these losses will be with the California Fair Plan Association, and they have a very specific script that they have to go through. And I know it can be frustrating. I've been on probably 30 or 40 calls with clients this week, and they'll ask you, was any personal property damaged? And of course you want to scream because you just told them the house is gone. But they have to ask, and they're going to ask you, do you know the cause of the fire? And you can apologize if you're here. Just again, a little bit of grace, a little bit of patience.
What he's saying is that the people that are working the customer lines are bots. And you just have to go through the NPC dialogue options even if they're stupid. That's just how it is. Yep. You got to deal with them.
Could be the final straw in fire insurance coverage in Southern California. Already before this, State Farm dropped 70% of its policies in the Palisades alone. That's more than any other zip
That's a
code
lot
in
of
the state
people.
because they knew that this area is considered high risk. What are people to do here?
Well, I think that was actually a bit of luck for consumers, as it turns out, because as we know, State Farm is having some serious financial problems. They've actually filed with the Department of Insurance for emergency rate increases because they are claiming they don't have enough money right now to pay their claims. So if they were on the hook for all of those clients in the Palisades, the likelihood of them being able to pay those claims are pretty low. So those people, as frustrated as they were, they are with other insurance companies, and they're in a position where they can likely get those claims handled and get them paid.
I mean, you don't know that.
Expecting at this point.
Yeah, that's a big if.
The Department of Insurance has been talking about it since September of 2023, if you can believe it. Finally became law in December. So what I think is going to happen is now the industry.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm hoots your house while you're at work.
Because there's no coming back from this. I think because of the new regulations that are in place, there is a path forward.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm picks up the packages that are left at your doorstep from Amazon Prime and then tells you that they didn't get delivered.
They're going to be reshuffling how they underwrite, how they price, how they discount, all those sorts of things. And areas that are higher risk for fire are going to be higher premiums to pay, and areas that are lower risk for fire are going to be less expensive.
Wow, thank you. We brought in the expert.
What do you do now?
There we go.
Because so many people who have just lost their homes are facing questions
That's good.
like this. They have no idea what to do.
Well, what happens is if your home is gone and you need to rebuild,
State Farm stock.
policies are called course of construction policies, and there will be companies running around to write those policies, right? They're going to smell the blood and the water, and they're going to say, oh, we can write all this business, right, for course of construction insurance. Now, the Department of Insurance is extremely consumer-friendly, very pro-consumer. They've already issued an edict that says that if you are in any of the wildfire-affected
This is something different.
areas, then the insurance carrier that you had
5 days. It seems like it's going about the same.
renew or cancel the policy. So you've got a guarantee of 12.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, right? Like, I mean, let's be Machiavellian for a minute here. If you were going to invest in a company that was an insurance company and you wanted to invest in the one that was going to make you the most money, the one that told a bunch of people that were in fire danger areas to get fucked and then they just stopped giving them insurance, I would be more confident in investing in them because they're going to do what's important to increase shareholder value. So I feel like, if anything, this is probably going to make State Farm stock go up. I mean, that's just me.
Gigi Gracia joins us from Malibu with the details on 3 active investigations. Gigi, what can you tell us?
That's right. Law enforcement sources confirmed to me they do believe that the remains found in the rubble at this
This is one of at least 3, possibly 4 different investigations going on simultaneously.
So why is it that people why they stay in their house if they're told to leave? Like, I'm just confused. Like, yeah, maybe they're like an older person. I could see that happening. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Can't move. Yeah.
The human remains were found in multiple locations.
I guess that makes sense, right?
Pacific Coast Highway. We understand now that there were 2 people who lived here. One of them got out, and when that person didn't hear from the other occupant of the home, they called the sheriff's department and asked them to do a welfare check. That welfare check was done, and that is when deputies found what they reported to be human remains. Homicide detectives are here. That doesn't necessarily mean that there is foul play suspected. It just falls under their jurisdiction. We have the medical examiner now. They will make the ultimate determination if the remains are indeed human, and then they'll have to identify who died here at the scene and how they died. I mentioned this is one of
I could guess how they died.
investigations happening simultaneously over in Altadena at 2 different locations. Human remains have possibly also been found. In one case, firefighters called deputies, telling them they found the human remains in the rubble of a burnt-down house. In another case, deputies were driving by when they were flagged down by a resident who told them they had found human remains. Again, it's
Wait, they died from COVID?
examiner will have to confirm this, but our sources are telling us, at least here in Malibu, they do believe that the remains found belong to someone who lived in this home, the home that has burnt down. Reporting live in Malibu, I'm Gigi Graciette.
It's bird flu now. Oh, yeah.
I do suspect that this will be, especially when you saw the overhead look that Stu was giving us at the Palisades. You don't know what's in those homes, and I have a
Yeah, tons of people probably got killed.
I think you're right in the rubble. That's why
You're probably gonna have a bunch of people that die from like respiratory complications too in like the coming like month or so. I bet that's what's gonna happen because you got all those old people and shit.
unfortunately bad news to come. We're gonna take a break, then we'll be right back.
Yeah, lung problems. Yeah, that's just what's gonna happen. Yeah, no. God damn.
And I've been here my whole life. I don't know anywhere else other than here. Myself and my brother and my son Chase and his other grandchildren. This is where we've been our whole life. And my son tried to get him to leave, and my neighbors and myself. And he said he'll be fine. I'll be here when you guys come back. And he said his house will be here. His house is here, and he was here too. He was in his bed when I found him. Yeah, we found him boned. His whole body was there, intact.
His legacy, his grandfather founded, established Nickerson Gardens in Watts, the largest public housing development in LA.
Yes, ma'am. William Nickerson, my great-great-grandfather, his grandfather, was the founder and owner of Nickerson Gardens in Watts.
Sad as fuck.
And
yeah,
then
it is.
from there, he started Golden State Mutual, which still exists on the corner of Western and Adams. And we've been here.
An engineer, I mean, this is an 83-year-old man who leaves behind 45 years of work at Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, he worked at Lockheed Martin for 45 years. He was a project engineer manager. My mom worked at Lockheed. He started at Lockheed. They were in Burbank, and when they
Why
moved
didn't
to
he
Palmdale,
evacuate?
he commuted from here
I
to
don't know.
Palmdale every day until he retired.
Rodney King
I have no
Nickerson,
idea.
one of, at this point, at least 5 people killed in this firestorm that blew through here Tuesday night. We know cadaver dogs are out there. The
He's
sheriff's
83?
department actually wouldn't even give a
His knee
number
can't move.
anymore with the people who died. Another man up the street from here on East Loma, also we're hearing passed away in his home, very close to here. I mean, this neighborhood just wiped out. These homes burned to the ground.
Wow.
The neighborhood is completely gone. Blocks and blocks and blocks down. And it's just devastating. It's devastating. It is. It's horrible.
Your grandson, 25-year-old Chase, was here living with Rodney. Chase said, I'm out of here at 11 p.m. Tell me what happened.
He just kept telling my dad, come on, pack up the car, Papa, come on, let's go. And he was like, I'll be right behind you. And he put some stuff in the car that's still there. And we gotta go now. And he says, if I need to go, I'll go. But grandson, I don't need to go right now. But I'll be here.
He's going to convince. I mean, it was just Grandpa's going to stay.
Yeah. And boy, did he say.
My mom would do the same. I guarantee you, my mom would do the exact same shit with me. Yep, 100%. Like, it's so frustrating to deal with people like that. Yeah, they're stubborn. They're gonna just do what they're gonna do.
My dad has been here, continuing on what he's been doing since 1968.
He wanted to stay in the home that he has lived in for decades.
This is true. And he did just that. He did just that.
What was the last conversation you had? Was it when he had just told you, I'll be here tomorrow?
I'll be here tomorrow. That was the last thing he verbally said to me was, I'll be here tomorrow.
Should have evacuated.
I was far away.
Yeah, should have fucking evacuated. That's crazy. What a mistake. Yeah.
To another financial crisis. The full cost of recovery is still unclear as firefighters battle, of course, to contain the flames. Meantime, LA County Sheriff Robert Luna has a sad update to the amount of people accused of looting LA fire victims, and he's ramping up the department's efforts to curb it.
Last night and this morning, we are up to 20 individuals who chose to go into our areas and deprive these poor people who have been through so
That's
much
it?
of their property. Absolutely unacceptable.
That's really good.
And I'm going to give
What do you mean?
to our department members, as you know, when we have an evacuation
Yeah,
order
that's tiny. They got caught? That's true.
area, you are guilty of a misdemeanor. If you commit certain crimes, it could jump up to a felony. I'm going to be asking our employees to start enforcing that. That is very different than a curfew. Why? Because it's 24/7. I don't have to wait for the sun to go down or the sun to come up. If you are in one of these areas and you do not belong there, you are going
Why's
to
the
be
guy throwing out
subject
game
to
signs?
arrest.
So this is called ASL.
After that, newly elected
Not
Los Angeles
age,
County
sex,
District
locations,
Attorney
American
Nathan
Sign
Hoffman
Language.
echoed the sentiment.
Yeah, that's not those are not gang signs. That's sign language, guys.
If you want to engage in grand theft,
Yeah.
if you want to engage in these internet scams where you're going to take advantage of people who are going to be seeking insurance and government benefits, you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will be punished to the full extent of the law. And the reason I want to send this warning now is I don't want any mistake later that somehow they thought, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a huge deal. These acts are despicable, and we will prosecute them with
You always have
maximum
people to do this shit.
It's still sickening to me that people
Yeah,
would,
you always gonna have people doing
and
this.
also willing to take advantage of vulnerable people who are trying to, protect their homes and people who frankly lost everything.
Yeah.
Meantime, there are people who are doing good, and this world
They're opportunists. Yes.
fires in LA are
People
getting
do.
a much-deserved free meal. This is all thanks to one local restaurant. Yeah, Bob, we're right now live with this heartwarming story. Hey, Bob, where are you?
It's just some restaurant. That's good for
Yeah, it's
them.
one of those stories where in the midst of a big crisis, all the community comes together. You ask where I am, we are really in the heart of Eagle Canyon. I've been hiking around here. This is not
Well, man, only one restaurant? Yeah, I mean, the coverage of this makes me pretty sick. It's really bad, man. Like, you look at there's just houses still on fire. They haven't even been able to get this shit under control at all. Like, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, nothing will help prepare a $10 million house like a free meal. I mean, I feel like if you're hungry, it certainly helps. I mean, fuck, I'd be happy about that. Yeah, wow. Fucking Canadian provinces are sending firefighting aircraft. Is Trump gonna say we're bombing you guys? Probably, yeah. We'll have to return fire. Anderson Cooper in front of an LA burning house doesn't get more Hollywood than that? Yeah, I guess so. Holy fuck, man. Yeah. W Canada. There's no food or anything? Yeah. California cut the firefighter budget by 17 million months before this. I do think that there needs to be like some kind of investigation into like how the fuck this happened. Absolutely there does. Like, because I feel like in a lot of cases, like things like this is kind of, it's like things like shit happens, right? But at the same time, it's like how much of shit happened? How much is it of shit happening versus like people that let it happen or, you know, like left the door open for it to happen? It was 17 million out of hundreds of millions. It was 2%. Yeah, that's probably not a big deal. The DEI happens. I don't know. I feel like it can't be that simple, right? I mean, like that's insane. If it's literally that simple, if it's DEI is the reason why all the houses burned down. I feel like, I mean, as much as, you know, I like to talk about shit like that, I mean, I feel like that's probably not what's going on. I mean, it didn't help, right? I mean, like, if you hire people, like, no doubt, right? If you hire people that, oh, here you go. Yeah, you hire people because of some bullshit, and you're gonna have worse people that are gonna solve problems, like, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it was foreseeable enough for insurance companies to pull out. Maybe the government could have done something. Well, they pulled out because they couldn't charge enough money, which is a little bit different, right? Like, California's privately owned water. Yeah, so I saw this. This was crazy. I don't know really how true this is or not. Look at this.
While 40 million Californians suffer through unprecedented drought, one billionaire couple owns a massive share of the state's water system.
That's crazy.
In a series of secretive meetings 2 decades ago. That system was largely paid for by the very taxpayers whose water these billionaires hold hostage.
Wow.
Urban water systems are desperate for water, but in 2023, they'll receive just 5% of what they requested from the state.
Damn.
The Resnicks are the biggest farmers in California. As of 2007, they owned 4 San Francisco's worth of farmland, and nearly half of Americans buy at least one of their products. Their pistachios, their pomegranate juice, their mandarins, their flowers. It's all under one massive umbrella.
Not me.
The Wonderful Company. A privately owned company worth at least $5 billion.
I have Fiji waters.
The majority owners, the Resnicks, are worth at least $8 billion.
That's a lot.
How were they able to take over such a large percentage of what should be a shared public resource? This is The Classroom from More Perfect Union. Today, we're looking at how the Resnicks got rich. Linda is a former child actress, the daughter of Jack Harris, a successful movie distributor of the 1950s, most well known for The Blob.
Starring Steve McQueen and a cast of exciting young people.
Yeah.
At 19, she founded her own advertising agency. Stewart was born to a middle-class New Jersey family and started his first business, janitorial service, in grad school. He eventually acquired American Protection Services, a burglar alarm and security company. Linda approached him about marketing services for the company, and they hit it off.
Try
not
Evian that
knowing
tastes
that
better than Fiji. It's just gonna sound fun. I just drink tap water. I just pull water out the faucet. I drink it. I mean, what do you want me to say? I drink it right there, straight up. You? Why is it nasty? That's what cavemen used to do. They were fine. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Quit being a pussy. Yeah, stop being such a pussy, man.
One day, they'd work together to take over California's water. The Lovebirds became business partners. They bought Teleflora, the flower delivery company, and the Franklin Mint, purveyors of inane little tchotchkes. Linda was the marketing person, and Stewart was in charge of business. As Linda told the LA Times in 1993, "I've always said that Stewart and I together make one perfect person, like little salt and pepper shakers."
That's
In
cute.
the late 80s, they found their primary industry, agriculture. They got into the pistachio business. Linda said, "We've done more for the pistachio than anyone ever since it was planted in the Garden of Eden."
I don't think so. I feel like Snoop Dogg did a lot for pistachios. Because whenever I think of pistachios, I don't even know who they are. But like, I think of Snoop Dogg. Remember that interview, that commercial that he did? Yeah, I like they've done maybe the second most for pistachios, but number one would in fact be Snoop Dogg.
My husband should be canonized for all the work he's done.
They hired him?
They started branching into other products. Almonds, pomegranates, citrus, wine, and acquiring more and more land to cover it, including some very important land in Kern County, which granted them water rights in the area. As the Resnicks were building their empire, the state of California was building new water infrastructure with taxpayer money.
Yeah.
California's natural water
so
supply
what happened
is
with
very
that?
inconsistent. Vastly differing amounts of rainfall means the state can go from surplus to drought and back very easily.
Wow.
So they build water banks to store water during surpluses to have during droughts.
That's a good idea.
One important storage facility is the Kern Water Bank, started in 1988. The facility was built with hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars, which could have been a good thing. The people of California would have owned the water.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
But there were two Californians thirstier than the rest, and they wanted more water. Linda and Stuart Resnick, and they had a lot of political power. We'll get to that. In 1994, state water officials, water infrastructure contractors, and agricultural landowners with water rights arranged a secretive meeting at a resort in Monterey Bay, California.
What is this shit? How does this keep happening? Well, oh my god!
These groups, a mix of private companies and
Not a
public
secret.
agencies, rewrote California's water rules without any input from voters, taxpayers, or legislators. The new rules, called the Monterey Plus Agreement or the Monterey Amendments, were devastating for working Californians and great for agriculture billionaires. The original code included urban preference, a long-standing rule that in times of drought, the state water board would give urban areas, where people lived, access to water supplies before agricultural interests. Monterey axed that. That means that in times of drought, the water systems for normal Californians...
Is California in a drought right now? I don't know. People are half and half on that.
Would have to buy water from private companies because they weren't getting it from the state. The new agreement also loosened regulations on paper water. That's water that doesn't necessarily exist anywhere but on paper. The full quantities of water that providers could have, but don't actually need to have. Today, 5 times as much water has been promised and sold as actually exists. And importantly, the people changed ownership of the Kern Water Bank. What once belonged to the state was transferred to a few private water contractors. One of which was Westside Nutrient, a wholly owned subsidiary of Wonderful Foods. The wonderful employee who runs Westside, Bill Bullimore, is the chairman of the public organization that manages the Kern Water Bank. Why are they attached?
See, I'm just gonna say it. This is the reason why people like Luigi. This is it. Because how the fuck can you respect a system that is an obvious fucking scam? How dare you? No, I'm being honest. And I'm saying, like, you guys know my take on it. You know my take on it. But what I'm saying is that how the fuck are people not going to come to that conclusion when they see points put together like this? You're going to call it bullshit? Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, this is the truth. He's coming around. Yeah, it's too fucking blatant. I guess so. Their secret meeting should have been the grounds for throwing them in jail. This sounds illegal. Well, and that's the reason, is that I think that people have a fundamental, like, this is me pontificating, okay? So, like, what the fuck? But, like, I think that people have an internal sense of justice, and I think that's why almost every religious system has a karma system built into it, right? Whether it's going to hell, whether it's being reincarnated as a bug rather than an eagle, or whether it's, like dying and you have like 70-something virgins if you do the right thing, right? A lot of these, because people have a desire to have the wrongs of the world righted. You see what I'm saying? They do. Is it 72? I don't know. It's a lot. And anyway, because of that, they see something like this happen, and they think, man, we're getting fucking scammed. These people are cheating us. They're taking advantage of us. They're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and it's at the detriment of everyone. And then they have and also, I think a lot of people, how many of you guys think that this type of relationship should be illegal? This type of collaboration or, you know, let's be real, collusion should be illegal. A lot of people think this. I think that if you were to explain this situation to an average voter, 90 to 80% of them, probably 95, realistically, would say that this is bullshit. So, when Luigi shoots somebody in the back of the fucking head, two wrongs don't make a right, but at least they're equal. And that's the reason why people support that shit. That's the reason. Now, it's not a good thing that happens. But you gotta understand why it happens. There's a reason why it happens. It's all like these things, this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's an eye for an eye? Yeah. Wow, justifying murder? It's not justifying. See, I am explaining the way that people feel. So if I explain, does the scientist that explains the way that the California fires spread, is he justifying the fires? Is he saying, no? Do you think he's pro-fire? That's not how it works. Put your brain back in and think about it for a minute. You're explaining cause and effect, yeah. Did these billionaires kill people in the fires? I don't, I mean, like, I'm sure to some form of abstraction, yes. How much, it's impossible to know.
Boom. One secret meeting, and the Resnick owns nearly 60% of an important California water resource, built with hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money.
So now, okay, that's convenient.
Combined with the rules on paper
For them.
and surplus water, meant that during times of drought, the Resnicks could sell current water back to the state water systems.
So they had the public pay for it, and then they gave it to the private company, and then now the public pays for it again from the private company that's using it because the public paid to make it.
They took Californian taxpayers' water and sold it back to them, both literally as the water supply and also to grow expensive food like gourmet pistachios and pomegranates.
Yeah, also, like, we don't need pomegranate juice, we don't need pistachios, you can get rid of that. Nobody needs that shit. Like, you have orange juice, you have lemonade, you have apple juice. Stop it. That's enough. Look at this bottle. This is outrageous. This is ridiculous. A bunch of bullshit.
They converted the people's water into products many can't afford. And that's just one water bank. The Resnicks also have control of other water boards and have been sued for directing more water towards their properties. So how do they get away with this Chinatown-level chicanery?
There'll be a lot of irate citizens when they find out that they're paying for water that they're not going to get.
With philanthropy. The Resnicks donate millions of dollars to politicians and research institutions, which help them secure control over water systems.
So they pay the people that make the rules that, okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And even get more water and more taxpayer funding. Yeah. One important project is the proposed California Delta Tunnel, a taxpayer-funded project which would send water from northern California.
It's another tax. Okay, and then let me guess, they're going to have like control over it. They're going to own it.
California to Central, where the Resnick's farms are.
Right. Okay.
They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on state and federal legislation and politicians who support the tunnel project. But their favorite politician is Senator Dianne Feinstein.
You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway.
chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee. She's a close personal friend of the Resnicks, attending their holiday parties in Aspen and maintaining their financial interests.
Yeah.
A quick look at the bill she sponsored shows several which would direct money to Kern-adjacent water projects. The Resnicks even asked her for things.
Guys, we're not going to be doing this weird-ass Jew shit like, oh, wow, it's Stein. It's a bunch of Jews doing it. There's plenty of greedy fucking black people, white people, Asians, Koreans, like, I guess this guy's like Russian. What are we doing about this weird-ass Jew shit? You think the Jews are the only people that are greedy? Everybody's greedy. We're making it weird. The reason, see, this is the reason why, like, I'm gonna be real, is y'all get fixated on this Jew shit, and now you're thinking about them being bad, while people that are part of other groups are doing the exact same thing to you, but you think they're on your side because their last name doesn't end with Stein. Wake the fuck up.
Things directly. When a pesky study about endangering salmon and shad fisheries threatened the Delta Tunnel, Stewart...
I feel like people never even want to talk about this because they're afraid of like being called anti-Semitic or something, or like racist. I just say it. It is so embarrassing. Like, wake the fuck up. They're on each other's side. Like, these people, this rich Jewish person has more in common with the rich Chinese person than they do with you. They got way more in common with each other than they do with you. They don't give a fuck about you. Is class not race? Yes. If every Jewish person stopped existing, these problems would keep happening.
A letter to Feinstein demanding a new study.
Dumb
She
as hell.
immediately forwarded it to the Obama administration,
Yeah.
who agreed to spend $750,000 on a new study. It returned the same results as the first one.
I know there's a lot of people that are disappointed. I don't hate Jews. I'm sorry. Apologize. As a German, I'm sorry. I might have let people down, but it's just not really for me. It's not a viewpoint I have. I never really felt that way. So it's just not. Yeah. I can't be perfect, right? I can't always live up to your expectations.
Can't buy science. But the Resnicks have tried. They are among the top donors to the University of California system,
cancel
with
that
their
on
donations focusing on agricultural and ecological studies. The Resnicks have basically bought entire departments who put out studies on how water systems should be managed.
That's smart. So,
study. It returned the same results as the first one. Can't buy science. But the Resnicks have tried. They are among the top donors to the University of California system, with their donations focusing on agricultural and ecological studies. The Resnicks have basically bought entire departments who put out studies on how water systems should be managed.
And I wonder what those studies say. You know, I've seen certain studies that were put out by toothpaste companies that say that their toothpaste is better than the toothpaste that the other guys make.
It's the mind bender.
What are the odds of that?
Watching the pickle remain Aaron's back. It's like
And where funding should go. That leads to even more federal and state taxpayer dollars being used to fix up what the Resnicks profit off of. This is all bad for California, even in a capitalistic sense. Agriculture uses 80% of California's water, but only represents 2% of its GDP. The Resnicks' water monopoly is just one way their quest for wealth hurts the rest of us. They allegedly lobby for increased tensions with Iran to keep embargoes on superior Iranian energy.
So now we're starting shit for Iran so these fucks can make more money with fake water? How many layers of retardation is this? This is crazy. And here's the other thing. I bet if you take an average person, like maybe especially before their revolution, but probably even now, I bet you got more in fucking common with the guy that's living in Iran, this your same age, you know, relatively same social status. You got more in common with him, and he's got more in common with you than either of y'all do with these fucks. I wish people realized that. creative. No, it's just common sense.
Pistachios. Their giant crops lead to monocultures, which kill important pollinators. They siphon taxpayer dollars into the company town charter schools they've set up to train children to work for their farms.
That's smart. Yeah, you get the whole system.
And of course, like any company of this size, they exploit their workers. We need to treat water for what it is. A necessary public resource.
What's the answer? Communism?
Human right.
It's not communism, bro. Like, it is not communism when you want to relegate and make sure that you don't have a massive interest take over the supply of water in an area. That's not communism. Like, you gotta stop. Like, people gotta stop getting with these weird words where it's like everything's either communism or fascism. Nah, bro. There's a lot of shit that's common sense. It's common fucking sense that this is a bad idea. Like, anybody can see it's a bad idea. People have been programmed too much. Now, I think that every once in a while these guys, I think that sometimes they get shit wrong, but I don't think they're getting this wrong. I don't think they're getting this wrong at all.
And something that shouldn't be owned by anyone, and work towards legislative change that stops people like the Resnicks from stealing it.
Yeah. Yeah, your Chinese need to stop getting their news from far-right idiots from YouTube and podcasts. Holy shit. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on where they want to get their news and educate themselves on current events. I'll link you guys, give me a minute, I'll link you guys the tweet. This is just a post, right? Random post. But yeah, there it is. Far-right. I mean, I think that you should stop thinking about this. I feel like it would be a good thing, and maybe you guys disagree, but I think it would be a good thing if we spent way less time thinking about where messages came from, and we spent more time thinking about what messages are. Because, like, I feel like every time that we have a conversation about a topic, half the people are talking about the messenger and not even the message. They're not even thinking about what the idea is to be discussed. They're talking about, like, how there's like, oh, well, the person that said it had this controversy that invalidates what they say. Like, it's nuts. It's crazy. Common sense goes far right. Yeah, you say that, but the whole Gamergate is about that, bro? No, it's not. People just didn't want to have games journalists that had close personal relationships with people that they were reviewing their products. I mean, I feel like actually it's pretty close to this. Really, I mean, basically, it's just corruption. That's it. It's just corrupt. People don't want to have fucking corruption. Like, it's not that complicated. Yeah. Is math related to science? Yeah, it obviously is. And, yeah, we got somebody who's upset about this. What is this? This guy's a Nazi. Your comment about GameStop workers is fucking disgusting. You're a psycho. Why would you come into my chat on a regular basis and get mad? Like, do you have like a mental disorder, or what are you doing with your life that you want to come into my chat on a regular basis and get mad at me? Like, you ever think to yourself, like, maybe this isn't a good decision? Like, you ever thought, like, maybe that's it? Non-binary is trans still? No, it's not. Like, that's not even true. You're not transsexual if you're non-binary. That's... What do you mean? That's not how it works. He left. Yeah, I guess so. Trolling, dude. I don't think this guy's trolling. It's just it's a walking mental disorder. Well, that's probably not true. I don't really see a person like that spending a lot of time getting exercise, but you know, it's a mental disorder. So that's it. Son, see two people run the mafia water over 40 million taxpayers. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, oh goody, it's a badge of honor, a mentally ill person. Yeah. And can we please sterilize people like that? The best part about it is they do it to themselves. So you don't have to worry about it. So there's only messages are negative instead of trying to give you his perspective. And I don't know. But anyway, yeah, no, this is a huge problem, and like I feel like now you're talking about it because of like the fires. It's hard to say like whether what they're doing and talking about is like it's caused the fires. Like if these people weren't in California, would these fires have still started? Well, the answer is that yes, because there would have been other people that would have done the exact same thing. Like you can't, like for example, like if you get rid of these two people, the same problem will keep happening because the system that created them still exists. So like if you know, like let's say you have a factory and the factory makes lawn chairs and you set a lawn chair on fire. Well, it doesn't matter because the factory is just going to make another fucking lawn chair. Well, you got two really shitty lawn chairs here. You got an $8 billion lawn chair. So that's it. Water wasn't the issue. I mean, if the fire hydrants don't work, I feel like that's part of it. Yeah, it's a systematic issue. Yeah, it is. Like, these are people that are beneficiaries of it, and everybody gets focused around the beneficiaries, which is true. Like, you're right to get angry about it, but it's also it's a minimal amount of people. The fact is that this happens with all kinds of things, and if you stop one group of people from doing this, that's fine. You go ahead, you do that. But it's just going to be another set of them. They're a symptom and not the disease. That's basically it. I'll be right back. You guys. There you go. That's it. Oh, wow.
Looks like Ido's frame really came alive during that mission.
Yes, the energies of the remnant were just the component it needed. Unfortunately, we're no closer to ending Fikul or curing my father's curse.
Okay. It's a nice Fireplace YouTube channel. Yeah, they call